So what we're doing today is we're going to remove this lower ball joint on W123 Mercedes. So I've got a ball joint press. This is one of those like Harbor Freight 4-wheel drive ball joint presses, and I actually use this to install. You can see it's well used. But I find it difficult to use it for removal on these because there's just no room in here. You try to get one of these cups in here and they just don't fit very well, and you can kind of do it, if you have to, but it doesn't. You can get the cup in there, but you can't get the ball joint press centered on the cup, so it doesn't really go centered. So I'll show you what I do, and to me it's easier if you don't have a torch. I can't help you there. Torch is a very useful shop tool. So I don't heat the spindle itself, I heat the ball joint. So I'm just going to put heat on the ball joint. We're going to put a lot of heat on the ball joint. And we're just going to kind of move it around. I don't know that you could, there's a lot of mass here, a lot of metal. You got the spindle and ball joint. I don't know if you can get enough heat out of a propane or MAP gas torch. You may have to find some way to get the ball joint press itself to work. And then also having this thing held down securely in a vise is kind of a mess. And don't worry about this PC in your background. It's not that close to it, and it doesn't work anyway. No, laptop, I guess. One of the gloves are sitting on. I used to use that out here for music. And of course, this is not going to work well if you're trying to, I guess if you're removing the ball joint and you're not wanting to keep it. I definitely would not reuse this ball joint. But like I said, we're just putting a lot of heat on it. Edge here. While it is still hot, let me grab my hammer real quick. We're going to hit the ball joint. Make sure you're hitting right in the ball joint. And it started out. Let me put a little more heat on it. What really works best, I don't really like doing this, but there you go. Ball joint is out. What I'll do is I'll take a wire brush and just clean this up, but that works really well. Probably get some negative comments for that action, but it is what it is. So, got it out, going back together, use ball joint press, and I'll show you all that. Okay, so, like I said, take a little wire brush, or you can do it with a little thing on a drill or Dremel or die grinder, little brush, but this one's actually in pretty good shape, not a lot of rust in there or anything. And then also, of course, I'm going to do this more off camera, and I get this side as well, you know, where the ball joint is going to seat. Just make sure you get that all real good. But it goes something like that. So this is your Moog K9139 ball joint, and there's two different designs on these. So from what I understand, this is the old style ball joint. You can see it's got a normal boot that you would expect on a ball joint. Problem is with this ball joint, there may be some special tool, I don't have it, to come in here and press. You got to press this ball joint in. I don't have anything that will go along this edge. I do have something that'll go along the edge that's inside the boot. But you can't do that with the boot on, you'll destroy the boot. So you got to take the boot off. Now they have a new style K9139. K9139? Yeah, K9139 that has an integral boot. I'll show you that here. What that gives you is you can press the ball joint in without removing the boot. Now, does that boot seal as well? I have no idea. I bought two ball joints. One of them was the new style with that internal boot, what we'll call it, that allows you to press it in without removing the boot. And the other one that came in was this one. So I then proceeded and ordered them from Amazon. I put the new style in on the other side, the driver's side, and I then, because that was the side I did first, I then ordered another ball joint. It came in again as the old style. So I went back to Amazon and they had 3 left in stock. Ordered all 3. I was like, you know what? I want to get the new style, so I ordered all 3. All 3 of them came in this old style. So I need to put the car back together. So we're going to install the old style ball joint. Now, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to remove the boot. So what we've got here, we've got this little, I'm going to call it like it's almost like a key ring, but it kind of spirals on. So we're going to have to get a little pick and try to pull that off and unspiral it from the ball joint. So I'm just going to set this thing up here for a second. And we've got a couple different little picks. And I'm just going to try to get under it. And you can see what I've done. I've started it off. Now, which style is better? I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted because I know this style will work well. But it's an extra step having to remove this. But is it that difficult? No. I mean, in a matter of a few seconds, I've undone it. I think we can leave the top one actually on, and we can probably actually leave that one right where it is. So now I'm going to take my pick, I'm going to just find a spot and try to work under the boot and just kind of peel around to kind of break any seal that it might have, and I think we can pull it off now. might should remove this. I was thinking we could do it without removing the top one. There we go. Okay, so that's good. It's off. It'll also allow us to put some grease in here, but this is supposed to have some kind of a, I don't know. It's supposed to weep grease out or something. There's some down in there, but you can see now. We'll remove this as well. So help me remember how that all went apart. So now we've got our ball joint apart. Like I said, it's up to you which style you want. I know this style is going to seal. You know, we shouldn't have any issues with water getting in this as long as we don't rip the boot. That other style, I don't know. So I'll have one of each on my car, and I guess, you know, they're probably going to last years at least. So maybe in a few years I'll report back to you how they're doing. So I'm going to do some more cleanup on this thing, and then we'll use our ball joint press to press this thing in here. You know, from the bottom up. Okay, so we're going to install the ball joint now. I've got this all cleaned up, so we have a good mating surface, and it's all cleaned up in here as well. And so we're going to start the ball joint in there. In my four-wheel drive ball joint press kit, I've got this little cup. It's larger than the ball joint, so we can put it on top. I like to use as short a one as possible. The ball joint just presses flush, so we don't have to use like a super long, you know, cup or big cup. You know, that's definitely excessive. I like to try to keep everything nice and tight. I feel like it gives it a better chance of going straight. So we're using this one, and then we're going to just start this in straight. Well, we'll put our little stuff together here. Ball joint is just going to go in the little press, just like that. No adapter on the bottom. And we're just going to get some tension on it, and then I'm going to make sure that everything is straight. So, ball joint is started straight. Everything looks good. So now we press it in. So I'm going to take my impact wrench and I'm just going to kind of support all this. Moving. Hang on a second. Give myself a little more air pressure. You get to a spot where it just kind of stops. One thing you can kind of do. Give a little hit on the other underside. to go just a little bit more. Probably what would have helped if when I did the other one, this was still a little bit warm. It's pretty cold now. It's very cold outside. I kind of heated up the spindle just a little bit. It would have helped it go in. The other side went in much easier. Of course, it's always the side that you film that takes the longest. Keep the ball joint out of the way and make sure I don't hit the thread. Each time I'm doing that, I'm going until the impact is not turning it. Give it a few hits here, it pushes the ball joint up a little bit. Then I can get more on the impact. The impact's putting a lot of pressure pulling up on the ball joint. So you hit it, give that extra shock to push it up in there. I'm just looking in there to see if it's fully seated. We're all the way in. So that's it. Now what I'm going to do is go turn the compressor off. Of course, I get halfway over to the compressor and it turns itself off. But what we're actually going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this ball joint. We had this piece right here that went on. That kind of goes first. And then I'm going to take and put, I'm going to clean my hands up. And then I'm going to put some grease. This is completely dry, and it's supposed to have some kind of a, I forget what they call it, but it's a, I don't know, impregnated grease or something that leaches grease out. I don't know, but we're gonna put a little extra in there. Not gonna hurt. And then we'll put the boot back on, put the clip back on. So, I'm actually going to take some. Ooh. It's like 31 degrees right now, so everything's kind of thick. But I'm just going to push some of that up in there. Pack our ball joint. I'm sure this is not necessary at all, and some people probably will disagree with it, but I'm going to do it because these are non-greasable. There's no grease zert on these. I wish there was. Stuff is so thick. Okay, and then I'm just going to, that is so stringy. I'm just going to take some, put in the cap. Again, I'm sure this is not necessary, and I'm avoiding all manufacturers' warranties and, you know, causing impending doom on this ball joint. But we're doing it. So now slide our boot on and get it over. It's kind of hard to work in here. I'm going to try to just slide the boot around. Looks like it's all good except for the back side. Try to rotate it around. It's so slippery now. Okay. Is that all the way on? Nope. Still the back side. There it went. Okay. Boot is all the way on, all the way around. So now, clean this thing up. And we take our little spiral ring that we pulled off, and we are going to start it in the groove. Come on. And work it around. Problem is you can't get to the back side of it, and so you can get it in, but you can't get that back side in. Man, I've been having issues with my hands lately, where they just cramp up. I don't know if I'm getting old. I don't know if it's arthritis, carpal tunnel. I don't know. You tell me what causes pain when you try to claw. Anyway. Just kind of difficult to get it in there. I can get y'all a little bit closer maybe. Let's try a different hook. Just sorry. I know, I'm blocking. But I've got it in. I think what I'm going to do, I got to screw myself here. I was going to see about spiraling it around, but I don't think we're going to do that. I think it'll come back out. It's in. And use this pick and kind of use the back side of it to push. I'm just pushing on that ring to make sure it's fully seated. Yeah, it's in. Much easier to get apart. But not too bad, and we know that that's a good seal. So that's it. Ball joint's in. It's pressed in all the way. Dust boot is back in, and if you've got the newer style, you don't have to deal with putting that boot off and on. Just take your pick. My thoughts, this one will probably outlast the other one, but maybe not.
So now I just need to go take this back over to the car and install it. So that's going to do it for this video. If you haven't checked out the other video where I gave you kind of an overview on removing the spindle, check that out. But thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe for more. That like and subscription really help me out, so I've always got new videos and lots of projects to work on, so stay tuned for more.